Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Thursday, August 22nd, 2024 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I align my presence and my mind with the energy of love. Well, here we are. Today the sun moves into Virgo. We have the sun moving into Virgo in about 12 hours from this recording. And so about like 11 hours from when I post it. 7:55 a.m. Pacific time, sun moving into Virgo. Now, as you know, anytime we have a shift, we get that zero energy, and zero can feel a little wonky, and that along with Mercury retrograde and still coming off this full moon and the yachtiness of it all, it might be a little interesting initially. So be gentle and try to be very present with yourself. That being said, let us look at the energy of Virgo and our focus for the next month. I thought about this a lot, and a lot of things kept kind of rippling through. Virgo to me has so many multi-layers. Like, Virgo is very multi-talented. Hello, you Virgos out there. I do think at its highest and best, Virgo is the healer or the healing energy of the zodiac, because this is where we can recognize our wholeness and presence. This is where we can combine all the energies, body, mind, spirit, soul, and heart. And while we may have a little bit more lessons down the road on, the spirit and the soul part, this is where we kind of like really dig into the physical part of it. As I was thinking about Virgo, I was thinking about how we have this Mercury retrograde right now, and how Mercury is one of the rulers of Virgo energy. And I feel like Virgo is like kind of like the next level of mental compared to Gemini. Like, Gemini is like who, what, where, when, how, why in the moment. Virgo is called to like kind of look within into the wholeness to support logic, presence, and thinking all together. And we can't forget the foundation that we come from. We come from the sign of Leo. We move from Leo into Virgo, and that is like bring along the heart. Gemini does not get that, right? Like, Gemini comes from Aries, so it may bring the fire. But when we go from Leo into Virgo, we bring along the heart. And that's why that's one of the important parts of Sun in Virgo energy, is to remember the wholeness, including heart. I also think it's interesting that, again, we're in the midst of this Mercury retrograde that has us bridging Virgo Leo, reminding us to bridge the mind and heart. And this shift from Leo into Virgo is also happening in part of a yod with Neptune feeding in, that magical piece feeding in, and Pluto energy feeding in. So it's definitely a very nuanced shift. And I was thinking about the yachtiness of it all. And part of the yachtiness of it all is connecting into the Pisces piece. I always think it's really interesting. Many astrologers don't mention this, but it's always fascinating to me that when we have the sun in a particular sign, so in this case, moving into the sign of Virgo, the earth holds space in the opposite sign. So the earth is in Pisces. And being that we have a Piscean eclipse coming up, we have Neptune at that 29th degree still in Pisces, we have Saturn in Pisces, I think paying attention to the Piscean nuances this month will really help. So we're focusing this month on presence and bringing higher thinking into our presence, higher mind, meaning connected to the rest of us, not just like the brain out there being like, I am supreme ruler, as it likes to do. But we're also connecting in the magic of Pisces. One of my favorite mantras to support my Virgo transits or my Virgo friends is the hocus pocus, I align my focus. And so in that, we combine that Piscean energy, leaving a little room for the magic, but then we recognize the power of our mentality, the power of our mental focus. And so all of this is kind of coming forth for this month ahead. I think if I have to I don't know, break it down, our focus for the next month is the presence of mind, and mind in the presence, and recognizing the power of working with these energies together. Now, of course, there's pitfalls of every sign. Every sign has its positives. Every sign has its pitfalls, so to speak. And I think the critical nature of Virgo can be both, because I always say Virgo energy is like one of these things is not like the other. And Virgo can see, oh, that thing, it's not matching, right? It doesn't fit. It's not supposed to be there. That's not in alignment. But that critical nature can also kind of pull the rug out from underneath us. So we have to bring the heart from the Leo energy to help work with that critical nature of Virgo. While it can be helpful, it can also be harmful. And so it's just recognizing that and using it in loving balance. How about that? I like that. So, let's see where we go with this. So like I said, Sun moving into Virgo at 7:55 a.m. And then we have at 4 p.m. Pacific time. I love that. We have the Sun and Pluto reaching there in conjunct. And remember, this is part of the yachtiness. This is kind of helping wrap up this yachtiness. We will have more yachtiness as Mercury comes by again. But here we're finishing up this one. But in it, again, we get to empower this Virgo energy, this bridge from Leo into Virgo, heart, mind energy. How do we empower it? By bringing our heart in, by not letting, in this case, the fear pull the rug out from underneath us. I can't tell you how many times fear has done that to me, where it's pulled the rug out and left me like incapable of moving forward. And it has been through like love, whether it's loving support from others or love for myself, that has helped me rise again. And so I encourage you, if you have fears coming up about anything, how can you approach it with love? If your thinking is spiraling, how can you bring the healing balm of love to this? Neptune feeding into this yod also reminds us, maybe sometimes we have to envision synchronistic events unfolding. Sometimes we have to envision what's the best that could happen. I have that Scorpio Mercury, and it likes to show me what's the worst that can happen. So sometimes I have to consciously bring myself around to what's the best that can happen, and around to what I always share with you, like, we can trust the universe. So keep that in mind as we get a little yachty. We also have Venus and Mars today engaging in a square, talking about mental energy. So we have Venus in Virgo and Mars in Gemini. So we're bringing the two layers of mind to this. Not to mention Pluto in Aquarius brings a whole other layer of mental energy. But here we have this Venus-Mars square. This can be challenging in relationship, and it can be challenging in finding our own inner balance, in our inner yin and yang energies. Both Gemini and Virgo can think that they have all the answers. And again, they're getting answers from multiple places, multiple sources. And this energy isn't all that far out from Saturn and Pisces also feeding in information. So, you know, it's a bit of a wide T-square happening in this. I don't think I have the turning in card, but that's always my advice. And I think it's from my layers. I have some really strong mutable energy in me. And so it's through my layers of like, wait, one half of my brain is saying this, the other half is saying that. Like, what do I do? And it's looking within, sinking into the answer. I always love the schizophrenia card, because in that card, oh my gosh, I have the schizophrenia card. I'm like looking at these, I'm like, I didn't even look. I love this card for this answer. It's like, chances are going this way is not going to help, and this way, like, you're kind of stuck. And the wisdom of the card is like, fall into the center. That's like falling into the heart of it all. And so if you find yourself in mental conundrum Morality, should I do this or should I do that? The song, should I stay or should I go now, came on when I was in the car today. And I think that this can be this energy. Like, should I stay or should I go now? And sometimes it's best when you're feeling that. Don't move. Look within. Let those answers support you. This card showed up from yesterday too. When you're ready, the teacher appears. Which is the teacher? It doesn't matter which is the teacher. Anything can teach you if you're open to learning. And that can be kind of the square between Gemini and Virgo. I think Gemini's always ready to be the student. And I think Virgo's always ready to be the teacher. But maybe we have to flip a little bit, you know, and get a little perspectives from multiple sides. So keep that in mind in this energy. We wrap up the day with Moon in Aries connecting to Jupiter. That feels kind of nice. Jupiter and Gemini. Just a little fire and a little air. If you've had a frustrating day, it could stoke the fire. It could make you feel frustrations. But I feel like there's also great possibility with this transit in the evening to like laugh it all off. So just keep that in mind. My last two cards, Source. Source always has answers for you. God, universe, source. Listen. That's a key, I think, with all this mercurial energy, especially as we're in a retrograde. Listen. Listen, the answers are always out there. And the ripeness card is like, ooh, something coming into fruition. And I love that. You know, Virgo is a sign of earth. And so it is a time where we can really, I don't know, pull in the physical. Physical manifestations, physical actions, physical momentum. You know, we are entering our second eclipse season of the year, so there will be some intensity, but that ripeness card feels like it's heralding some good stuff. Anyway, I'm going to leave that here for today. You can book a reading. Eclipse readings available for the eclipses coming in, Pisces and Libra. It's an interesting mix. Besides all that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and remember who you are, for you are the solution. Namaste.